Hey guys, how's it going? Listen, we've all done it. We've all gotten caught in the clutches of the Instagram ad algorithm and ended up spending way too much money on a hyper-specific piece of clothing we did not need, thinking that it might fill the hole in our hearts left behind by everyone who has ever let us down. But did it work? No! And now we have less money and some unnecessary clothes that are already out of style. Luckily, I have thought long and hard about how to prevent myself from doing this. Today, I want to talk about how to stop spending money on trends. Alright, so my first tip is something that I realized while I was making my recreating trendy Pinterest outfits with clothing I already own video. If you're interested, you can watch it up here. But the tip that I gained from making that is to look on Pinterest for outfit inspiration and save pictures of outfits that have clothing in them that you already own. For that video, I specifically saved images of outfits that I knew that I would be able to recreate, and I was like, wow, I have all these outfits that I never knew about. So now I've just sort of maintained that habit and continued to save outfit inspiration that looks like my closet so that I'm like, I can make cute outfits with the clothes that I own. Alright, tip number 2 is just more of a mindset thing that I have really been trying to remind myself of lately, and that is fashion is about expressing yourself, finding your personal style. What makes it fun is that it's unique to you and it's not just following exactly what everybody else is doing. So the way that I try to remind myself of this is by diversifying my style inspiration. I felt like I was just getting so sucked into like the Pinterest trend world recently, and I was like,
oh my god, I gotta get so many things. I gotta reinvent my entire style. I hate all my clothes now.
And then I rediscovered minimalist fashion YouTube, and I was like, oh, you can have a style that isn't just whatever is trendy right now. There's so many different like fashion styles and vibes and ideas out there. So if you try to actively search for and follow people who maybe embody other things besides the mainstream trends, that can really help you remember what else is out there and ways that you can style things that you already have. Tip number 3, when you are buying something new, ask yourself if you could see yourself wearing it for years and years. I don't think the answer to this has to be yes every single time. I just think it's a good question to keep in mind before automatically giving in to like this addictive impulse buying that the fashion industry tries to sort of like suck you in with. This mindset and asking yourself this question is really helpful in a couple ways because first of all, it will prevent you from buying short-term items that you think you're gonna be over soon enough, but also it will help you make sure that you're investing into higher quality pieces that will probably last longer and you won't have to replace. Conversely, sort of like a part 2 of this tip, is to also ask yourself if your past self would have liked the thing that you're thinking about buying. Because like if it's something that past you would have liked and current you would have liked, it's probably something that future you will like. Whereas if like you a year ago would have hated this thing and now suddenly it's a trend and you're like, do I need it though? You'll probably get over it really quickly. So it helps to like consider what your lifelong style has been or your long-term style has been in the past, and that can help you predict what you'll be into in the future as well. Alright, tip number 4 is that if you do want to update your wardrobe into something a little more trendy and of the moment, I would recommend doing so with accessories. Doing trends on a smaller scale is helpful because 1, it will give you the wardrobe update without spending as much money, and 2, the items will be wearable for a much longer amount of time if they are not the center of the entire outfit. And you'll be able to wear it more times because when you wear something really loud and like a statement piece, people notice more and you notice more if you wear it every week. You're gonna get sick of it faster, it's gonna be less of a repeatable item. Okay. Tip number 5, probably one you've heard before, but that is to keep a like dream clothing wish list. When you think of something you want to buy, instead of just buying it right that second or as soon as you can, just write it down and then you can come back to it in the following weeks and be like, okay, which of these items will actually serve me well, are wearable in numerous ways, will fit into my existing wardrobe, and which ones do I just want because I saw someone wear it on Pinterest and decided that is who I need to be now. So my part 2, like follow-up to this tip, is also that whenever you go shopping, make a shopping list. Even if it's like not super specific, if you're not super picky, that's great, that makes shopping easier. But just know, like if I'm trying to prepare for summer and spring, so I'm like, I need to get more tank tops, I don't have very many, and then I go in the store and I see a bunch of sweaters, I know, no, I'm here for tank tops, I'm not just here for whatever looks cute, and then I end up buying another sweater even though I have too many sweaters already, you know? Alright, the idea of the list brings me to my next tip, which is try to thrift trends as much as possible. This is a great way to go because A, it gives you a longer waiting period for your wish list. Whatever thing you're looking for might not just be at the thrift store whenever you're there. So it gives you more time to consider, okay, do I actually want this? Because maybe if it takes a month for you to find one, in that month, you know, you've decided, actually, I don't really need this. B, this is great because obviously you save money. Things cost less in a thrift store. Okay, another thing about trends and thrifting is that if you go to thrift stores, you've probably noticed literally all trends are sourced from thrift stores these days. All the 90s and 2000s style that is in right now is from thrift stores. Zip-up hoodies, midi skirts, dad sneakers. It used to be mom jeans, now it's low-rise jeans. And of course, sweater vests. Mass-produced sweater vests are the bane of my existence. Like, I'm not trying to particularly shame anyone who's gotten one, just the way that sweater vests have transitioned from like something that has so clearly come into fashion because it was a thrifted thing that people were easily able to find in thrift stores, and now they're being mass produced to such quantities and everyone's gonna hate it in a few years because it's so oversaturated. It's just, the fashion industry infuriates me. Okay, sorry for that little rant. Anyway, this is sort of a counterpart tip to the last tip, which is, as much as you try to thrift, also do not just settle for the best option that happens to be available on a particular day. Because then you will always just be looking for the version that you actually wanted, and you'll end up buying that again later, and then you'll have wasted your money on this worse version prior just because it was there. I am so guilty of this as someone who is just like always thrifting and trying to get the cheapest version of something, and I just like refuse to invest real money into anything. This is a habit that I have finally actually like realized in myself recently and have been trying to actively combat. Not buying something if I know that I'm still gonna want another version of it has definitely helped me be way more mindful, consume less in general, save my money, and just have less stuff that I don't actually need or want. Okay, tip number 8, one of the easiest ways to look trendy and spend nothing at all is to do trendy hairstyles. Of course, there are like tons of hair accessory trends. However, there are also tons of trendy hairstyles that literally just use ponytails. I've been saving a bunch on Pinterest because I just keep seeing them there.
Oh my god, that's so cute.
I think I want to make a video like recreating specifically trendy Pinterest hairstyles. But no, truly, if you just pair like a plain shirt and jeans with a really cool hairstyle or an on-trend hairstyle, people will be like, oh my god, you look so cool, I love your hair. And you'll feel so cool and you won't even be spending any money. So we love that. Literally even changing your part in your hair is a great way to like update your look that literally takes 1 second, no materials at all, but still helps you look up to date. I know I'm actually not gonna comment on that. Okay. All right, in contrast to the last tip, tip number 9 is not for the faint of heart. It's only the most difficult and most effortful. But for those who are interested, tip number 9 is to try making your own clothes. In the past year that I've gone into it, I've definitely done plenty of like playing around and experimenting and learning, and not everything I make is like a great product that's gonna last because I'm just learning how on my own. But also I have made some really great things that like I love, that I am so excited to wear and keep for years and years and years. And I can make everything to my exact specifications, which means it will fit me great, and I can make something that will fit my personal style more too, which is also kind of ties back into what I said earlier about like developing your style instead of just following trends. Sewing is a great way to sort of try and develop your own personal style, because in a way you're a clothing designer. I'm just living out my like 9-year-old fashion designer dreams. I get all my fabric from my local thrift store that has like a scrap fabric bin for literally $1. Obviously the most expensive part of sewing is the sewing machine, unless you want to sew everything by hand, which you can do. I've sewn things by hand, but it takes a lot longer. I was so lucky to get mine as like a hand-me-down from somebody my mom knew who just happened to be trying to get rid of hers. But also I have seen them at thrift stores before, so I definitely think it's worth looking at a thrift store or asking around if you know anybody who could potentially be wanting to get rid of one. That's how I got mine. I don't know. If you don't want to buy a sewing machine, all hope is not lost, I guess is my point. For my final tip, tip number 10, I just want to say, remember that at the end of the day, trends exist so that the fashion industry can profit off of you. Trends are created for corporate gain, and they are created to tap into your consumerist impulses to get your money. If nothing else fuels me, it's spite. So remembering that I'm being like manipulated into wanting to buy all these trendy clothes and then actively resisting that helps me feel good about not following the trends. To close out this video, I just want to say that like if and when you do have a moment of weakness where you're like, I need to buy that trendy bucket hat that's right there in front of me at the mall for $7, and you do it, don't beat yourself up. Even when you're trying your very best to like avoid all of these traps of consumerism, it's really hard, especially when you live in a consumerist world that is constantly like everything around you is designed to convince you to participate, you know? When I set myself some standards like that you cannot buy clothing firsthand, or you know, you cannot buy from a corporation, because if you do, that means you're a bad person. And then like if I do it, I feel horrible about myself. It's great to be mindful, it's something I care about a lot, but also it's not your individual responsibility to fix the moral failings of this world. I don't know if other people need to hear this, but I just know that like it's something that I need to hear from myself sometimes as someone who can be kind of hard on myself about stuff like that. Alright, with that, I think I have delivered all my advice. I like thought so hard and tried to put everything that I could think of in here, but I'm sure that I'm missing stuff. Everybody has their own perspective. If you have any tips or ideas to share, I would love to hear them. I'm sure other people would love to hear them, so please put them in the comments. I would really appreciate it. And if you want to support me, a like, a comment, subscribing goes a long way. It really helps out, you know, my unrequited crush on the algorithm. Someday I'll take my glasses off and he'll notice me back, you know? So in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you personally so much, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye!